Types of asbestos cases. Asbestos cases typically fall into two main categories: personal injury claims and wrongful death claims. Personal injury claims. These are filed by individuals who have been diagnosed with asbestos-related diseases like mesothelioma, lung cancer, or asbestosis due to asbestos exposure. The goal is to seek compensation for medical expenses, pain and suffering, and other damages. Wrongful death claims. These are filed by the surviving family members of individuals who have died as a result of asbestos-related diseases. These cases aim to obtain compensation for the loss of a loved one, funeral expenses, and other related costs. Statute of limitations. Each jurisdiction has its own statute of limitations, which is the time frame within which a legal claim must be filed. Asbestos-related cases often have longer statutes of limitations due to the latency period of asbestos-related diseases, the time between exposure and the onset of symptoms. It's crucial to consult with a lawyer as soon as possible to ensure you file your claim within the applicable timeframe. Establishing liability. To successfully pursue an asbestos-related claim, lawyers must establish that the defendant, usually a company, had a duty of care to protect individuals from asbestos exposure, and they breached that duty by not taking proper safety measures. This breach of duty must have directly caused the plaintiff's asbestos-related disease. Workplace exposure and product liability. Many asbestos exposure cases arise from workplace settings. Workers in industries such as construction, shipbuilding, manufacturing, and mining were often exposed to asbestos-containing materials. In some cases, asbestos lawyers may file claims against manufacturers and suppliers of asbestos products if they failed to adequately warn about the dangers of their products. Bankruptcy trust funds. Some companies that manufactured asbestos-containing products have filed for bankruptcy due to the large number of asbestos-related claims against them. As part of the bankruptcy process, these companies have set up trust funds to compensate victims. Asbestos lawyers are skilled in navigating these complex bankruptcy trust fund systems to ensure their clients receive the compensation they deserve. Medical and scientific expertise. Asbestos lawyers often work closely with medical experts who can provide testimony about the link between asbestos exposure and the development of related diseases. Contingency fees. Many asbestos lawyers work on a contingency fee basis. This means that they only get paid if they win the case or secure a settlement for their clients. The attorney's fees are typically a percentage of the compensation awarded. This arrangement can help individuals who may not have the financial resources to pay legal fees up front. Occupational and environmental exposure. Asbestos exposure can occur not only in workplaces but also in residential and environmental settings. Lawyers specializing in asbestos cases can handle claims involving not only occupational exposure but also exposure due to living in buildings with asbestos-containing materials. Secondary exposure claims. Secondary exposure refers to cases where individuals were exposed to asbestos indirectly through contact with someone who worked with asbestos-containing materials. For example, family members of workers who brought asbestos fibers home on their clothing could develop asbestos-related illnesses. Asbestos lawyers can handle these types of cases as well. Class action versus individual lawsuits. In some situations, asbestos cases may be pursued as class action lawsuits. Class actions involve a group of people with similar claims collectively filing a lawsuit against a common defendant. These cases can streamline the legal process, but individual lawsuits might offer more personalized attention and potentially larger compensation. Documenting exposure history. Asbestos lawyers work closely with clients to gather details about their exposure history. This might involve identifying specific asbestos-containing products, workplaces, job responsibilities, and other relevant information to build a strong case. Verdicts and precedents. Over the years, there have been landmark verdicts and settlements in asbestos cases. These legal outcomes can set precedents